come with me to set up lights for the show Hello Dolly at Hanford High School. The first thing I have to do is open the doors for the spaces I need to access. And while I do that, let me tell you more about the importance of lighting. Every live event you go to will have some sort of lighting, from concerts, plays, to even church events. And all of those events need someone who knows how to set up lights, operate a light board, and design a show. Lighting design is a very important industry that is not going away anytime soon. The first step of lighting is to go through the script to find different lighting mentions in the script, such as lights out, lights on, spotlights, and colors. Also, different times of day because night tends to be blue. I also have a conversation with the director to find out different sets, blocking, and specific moments they want, such as running through the audience or special colors. After my conversation with the director, it's time to go and figure out what I have in the air, what I need to refocus, and what I need to add to the lights I already have to create the show. This is another view of that. It shows me what color each light is, where it's pointed, and tells me if I need to move it. This is the light board. It is an ETC ion, which is the industry standard for lighting. It is how we program the lights for the show and how we run it through the show. Once we finish planning out what needs to happen with the lights, I head up to the catwalk and start adjusting lights, taking stuff down, and adding stuff that we need. I make sure to keep one hand on the light until this cable I'm about to connect, called a safety cable, is connected. A safety cable is a steel cable that ensures that if the connection of the light were to break on the rail, it would not fall down onto the audience. These lights tend to be 30 or so pounds, and if it were to fall from the height of the catwalk into the audience, it could severely injure someone. So safety is very important. Also, my wrench has a blue coil on it, which I keep around my wrist to make sure that if I were to drop my wrench, I wouldn't drop it into the audience. I have finished setting up the light, and I have pointed it in the direction I want it to go. So now I plug it in, and I get ready to turn it on. I signal to the person in the booth to turn on the light. Also on the catwalk, we have spotlights, which are mobile moving lights that we can point at people to draw attention, such as during a song in a musical. It is very rare to have set up all the lights in one sitting while on the catwalk. So I head back up to the booth to write down what needs to change and any notes that I want to make about the positioning, such as colors of certain lights, any size barrels that I need to change, if I need to point a light in a different direction, or if I need to repurpose a light that's not being used. I also cross off things that I left from my last to-do list, so I know they are done and I can communicate to other people also working on lights that these tasks have been completed. These are gels. We used them to change the color of the lights. Most lights aren't being able to be run by computers, so we have to add this color piece of plastic in front of them to change the light that appears on stage. Gels are fun to use because we can make a lot of fun colors appear on stage that we might not be able to otherwise, and we can convey moods using them. This is a gobo. We put it in front of the light and it makes different patterns appear on the stage through the light. It can signify that something is underwater or you're in a forest and many other things. Despite having worked with this board for about 3 years now, I still don't know everything. So we have this very handy manual, easily accessible for the board. It shows everything that you can do with the board, how to fix stuff, how to change settings, how to record and make new shows, and everything you could ask about the board. While the ETC family of light boards has a very comprehensive online community where you can ask other ETC users what they did to solve their problem, it is nice to have a paper copy of the manual next to you. For ease when programming, you can create these sliders called submasters and put lights into them that are controlled. You can see when I push it up, 2 lights turned on. This makes programming much easier than... When I'm programming a show, I add all the cues to an electronic cue sheet. This tells the light board op important information about each cue. The first section is the cue itself, so we know what number we have to be on for each section. The next is the page of the script, so when we're following along, we know what page we're on. The third section is the cue line, so we know what we're listening for the actors to say to start the next cue. And the last section is specifically for lights, which tells us what changes on stage with this next cue. And this is what a cue sheet looks like on the computer. You can scroll through all of them and see all the timing that changes on the cues. You can look ahead and see what cues you have next and if you have any immediate cues coming up. One thing I love about musicals is the program. Hey, look, there's me. One thing about lights is I go up these stairs so many times a day. And to be lights, you have to not be afraid of heights because you're pretty high up there. One thing that I find present every booth I've been is at least one cursed object, which in this case is our Lin-Manuel Miranda pillow. Don't worry, he's double-sided. And when you leave the booth, he's watching over you. Thanks for watching to learn more about the lighting process for musicals. Hanford's next musical will be Legally Blonde.